Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live. We'll get you top stories from India and the world. I am Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Rescuers near breakthrough to get 41 trapped workers out in India's northern state of Uttarakhand. Medical team on standby. Israel-Hamas truce extended by 2 days, with 33 Palestinians, 11 Israelis released on day 4. UN chief hopes extension will lead to more much-needed aid deliveries. North Korea's new spy satellite photographs White House and Pentagon. US and North Korean ambassadors engage in heated debate at the UN Security Council. And 54th India International Film Festival draws to a close. 300 screenings, 12 world premieres and 64 India premieres make celebrating the joy of cinema memorable. First updates on the tunnel rescue collapse in India's northern state of Uttarakhand. Efforts are on in full swing to rescue these 41 workers trapped inside this under construction tunnel in North India's Uttarkashi. Ambulances and medical team are on standby at the site. Updating on the rescue operations underway at the Silkyara tunnel in Uttarkashi, India's government said that rescue efforts have reached a near breakthrough.
Before anything else, we are near a breakthrough, but not yet there. Teams जो हैं हमारे rat miners, experts जो हैं, बड़ा मुश्किल काम जो कर रहे हैं, बड़ी enclosed space में कर रहे हैं, और साथ में आर्मी इंजीनियर्स ये सब मिलकर इन्होंने काम किया है. They have been able to take it to 58 meters, which is a phenomenal achievement.
The Indian government also said vertical drilling has reached 45 meters and that such drilling is important as a backup option.
Vertical drilling भी चलती गई. अभी इस समय vertical drilling 45 meters. कल मैंने आपको 36 मीटर बताया था, अभी 45 मीटर पे है. मैं आपको इसलिए बता रहा हूं कि हमने अभी तक सब कुछ बंद नहीं किया, ये सोचकर कि हमारा हॉरिजॉन्टल प्रोब जो है वो सक्सेसफुल हो गया है और अब सब कुछ सही है और सब कुछ जो है वो खत्म होने वाला है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. जितने ऑप्शंस हैं, ऑप्शंस अपनाए हुए हैं अभी तक.
So India's government added that it will take almost 3 to 4 hours from now to evacuate all the workers.
ये अंदेशा लगाया है कि एक एक इंडिविजुअल को आउट ऑफ द 41 एक एक इंडिविजुअल को तकरीबन 3 से 5 मिनट लगेंगे निकालने के लिए, ईच वन इंडिविजुअल. तो आप लगा सकते हैं कि आउटर लिमिट अगर हम देखें कि 5 मिनट अगर लगाते हैं एक इंडिविजुअल पे, वो तब एग्जैक्टली कंफर्म होगा जब पहला, दूसरा या तीसरा इंडिविजुअल निकलेगा. अगर 5 मिनट का भी अंदेशा लगाते हैं तो हम 3-4 घंटे, ऑलमोस्ट 3-4 घंटे लग जाएंगे.
And our correspondent tracking this story, Akshay Dongre, is with us live now. Akshay, yes, we are all hoping for this breakthrough now in about 3 to 4 hours, as informed by Atta Hasnain there in that press briefing. So fill us in. What arrangements have been made for the miners in terms of medical teams, trauma teams, ambulances and so on immediately after they've been rescued?
Well, Tanvi, the officials that were present here of the National Disaster Management Authority have said that once the breakthrough has been achieved, whenever it happens, after that, we are assuming that about 5 minutes it will take for for every worker to come out. So, given the fact that there are about 41 workers, there are 41 workers inside, there will be stretchers, there will be technical equipment, and if we look at the entire operation, it is going to take about 3 to 4 24 hours. However, there is no certainty right now that when the breakthrough will actually take place, because 2 meters of that particular debris that is still there, we certainly don't know right now that whether there is metallic debris inside, what exactly is there. But one thing is very clear from the Indian government's point of view, that we don't have to be overconfident, we do not have to jump the gun, and we do not have to start celebrations too soon. It is a very, very sensitive situation. It is a tunnel where about hundreds of workers are right now working from almost all other major rescue agencies of the country, as well as security agencies, be it the state disaster relief agencies, the national disaster relief agencies, the army, air force, the NDMA, all of the agencies, the healthcare workers, the psychologists. They're all inside the tunnel trying to help the workers who are trapped inside, but their safety also has to be kept in mind, and that is why whatever work is happening is happening keeping in view the safety of not just people who are inside as a priority, but also the people who are working inside. So we are yet to reach that particular 2-meter distance as far as the tunnel rescue operation is concerned. It will happen, but with keeping all the safety measures in mind, and that is what the officials here are saying. So the helicopters that had come, the Chinook helicopters that had come for the evacuation of the rescuers, they will have to now wait till tomorrow morning, because they cannot take off after 4:30 p.m. The weather conditions are not good there in Uttarakhand. The weather changes, and there may be extreme weather conditions as well, and that is why after 4:30 p.m. the government has decided to not actually evacuate the workers. The evacuation will take place tomorrow morning after sunrise. Until then, there is a facility there, a 30-bedded facility that has been prepared. It will be expanded as and when the workers are getting out, and all the preparations will be there on the site. But in case a better healthcare facility is required, then there are all the arrangements in place to transport the workers after they are rescued from the site to Rishikesh hospitals via ambulances through the night.
And a medical team is on standby at the site as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yes, so you have been...
Yes, medical teams are there, psychologists are there.
Yeah, so I was about to ask you, Akshay, what do we know about the morale of these 41 miners still trapped in the tunnel? What was briefed on their mental health conditions?
Well, today's briefing did not actually comprise of the mental health conditions of the workers, but in the previous briefings, yes, it has been mentioned that they are taking care. The government is taking care of the psychological, physiological, all sort of health conditions of the workers who are inside, because it becomes extremely important that after 17 days in pitch dark, where the workers have been there trapped in a small area with absolutely no hope of getting out of that particular area. They have gone through trauma. They will have to be monitored for about 48 to 72 hours. There will be psychologists on standby. They have already been speaking to them, trying to keep their morale high, because it's unimaginable what the workers are going through even right now. From what we have got to know from the experts is that they have reported back that now they can they have rather started hearing the sounds of the rescue work that is going on inside the tunnel. So that's a good news, but yet it will be too soon to say that the breakthrough has been achieved, because each and every inch, each and every centimeter, the workers are there fighting to get through inside that tunnel, and 2 meters is a distance that is yet to be conquered by the agencies that are there. So that will take place very soon, but we have to be very, very cautious while reaching there.
Akshay, what will happen from now on? Every worker, every trapped tunnel worker will be rescued separately, and how long will the rescue operation for each worker take? What has been briefed regarding this?
Well, as far as the experts are concerned who are here from the agencies that are in fact involved in the operations, they have told us that it will take about 3 to 5 minutes for every worker to get out of the tunnel, because they have become weak, they have not seen sunlight, they are scared, and they will have to come out very carefully not to hurt themselves. So it will take about 5 minutes for each of the worker to come out, given the fact that there are 41 workers, there will be equipment, there will be stretcher that will will be going inside. There will be other equipments. So it will take about 3 to 4 hours, as according to the experts, for the rescue operations to end from when it begins. So once the breakthrough is achieved, after that about 3 to 4 hours more for the last worker to get out of the tunnel.
Okay, Akshay, looking at the bigger picture, this has been a 17-day-long rescue operation and it's still not over. Has the success in this operation been achieved with the help of rat miners?
Well, not exactly, Tanvi. In fact, as we were hearing the briefing of the officials, they were saying that every agency of the government of India, almost every ministry of the government of India has been involved, be it the health ministry, be it the road transport, highways ministry, be it other ministries that could be taking part in the rescue operation. So every centimeter, every meter that has been achieved by the rescue workers, they have been significant achievements, because we have seen that the army has been manually drilling. There are rat miners who have gotten inside. Then there were earlier auger machine that was working continuously. So all in all the agencies have played their role for this rescue operation. It will be wrong to just give one of the agency or one of the teams of the rescue workers to give all the credit to. And in fact, the entire point of giving credit comes later, once the rescue work is completed and once the workers who are all inside are safe and they have been sent to the hospitals and they are released from the hospitals after all the mandatory checkups that will take place. So from now on, what we are going to see is the 2-meter distance that is still left, that will be very carefully gone through. In the last 24 hours, the rescue workers have gone about 10 meters inside the tunnel. So from about 48, they have reached about 58 meters inside. So that has been a significant achievement. In fact, even the experts here were saying that the manual drilling of the tunnel, the horizontal one, also took place like a machine was working. So that has been a significant feat in the rescue operation. So that is going to continue, but now more carefully, as they reach closer to the workers who are inside. They will have to tread more carefully, because that is the portion of the tunnel that had collapsed, and the part of the portion that is above the heads of the tunnel, the workers who are trapped inside, that still may be sensitive. So they will have to be extremely careful.
Okay. Akshay, what justification was given by the government for the use of this rat mining technique, since Indian press is talking about this rat mining technique in detail now?
No, the issue about rat miners, there were questions that were raised that rat mining is banned. And that's banned because of the rat mining has been a technique of the coal workers, getting inside the coal mines, and that was a technique for coal mining. That is banned. However, that technique, the skill, can be used if there is an emergency situation. So certainly there is nothing wrong with that, and that was the clarification that was given as well, that that technique is being used to save lives of the workers who are inside, because there is no other way. So that is why the workers, the miners, they were called, and they were using the rat mining technique to actually get further inside the tunnel. So there was nothing illegal about the entire usage of that particular technique, because it was not being used to extract coal from a coal mine, Tanvi.
Okay. Coming back to the rescue operation, Akshay, are any family members of the rescued miners at the spot? How have they reacted to the safe rescue so far? Are you hearing any news on that?
Well, from the few family members I could speak with, they have clearly said that while they are optimistic about all of the claims that are being made, but it's a matter of their family member being trapped inside that particular tunnel. So they are saying that until and unless they see their family member and they can talk to them, and they can get an assurance from them that they are safe and they are healthy and they are alive, till then they will be in a state of shock. They will be in a state of anxiousness. But they have been thankful for the authorities and all the rescue teams to be be working tirelessly. So that is the situation right now. They are yet to in fact, in person go and meet with their family members. So that will remain.
Akshay, last word about this superb tenacity, courage and skill of these rescuers who have been working in this difficult terrain. And we've all been seeing this superb tenacity on display for 17 long days now.
Well, completely, because the uncertainty was so high that the workers who were coming in from different parts of the country, they were not aware that what exactly is the situation like. Yes, the teams that were roped in, they were expert in these kind of operations, but we have to understand that every disaster relief operation is different from the last one. No two disasters are the same. Every time there is a new disaster, the situation is different, the complexities are different, and in this kind of a situation, when the tunnel is so fragile that it collapsed while it was being built, then what is the situation like for the people? First of the landmark as far as the entire operation is concerned was the fact that the communication could be established with the miners, because if had the situation been any different, it wouldn't have been possible for the workers or rather miners to keep their morale high as they have been able to. So it has been a remarkable and in fact a courageous journey.
Thank you very much, Akshay, for those updates. We in the whole of India are waiting for the good news to come soon in hours from now. Keep tracking the story for us. Thank you. Moving on now to West Asia. In the latest from the Israel-Hamas conflict, 11 more hostages have been released by the militant group Hamas, while Qatar announced extension of the Gaza truce by 2 more days. Israel says that for every 10 hostages released, it will extend the truce by 1 day. We have a report.
It was another day of joyous reunion for the families of 11 hostages, with tears of joy rolling down their cheeks as another batch of hostages were released by the Hamas, which includes 9 women and 2 children. These 11 hostages are in stable condition, an Israeli doctor confirmed.
We can say at this point that all our children and mothers are in a stable medical condition, and we will further on continue with medical evaluation.
Israel also shared still photos of 4-year-old Abigail Edan, who was released a day earlier by Hamas in Gaza, sitting with her aunt and her uncle. Friends of children eagerly awaiting their return were happy to welcome them home.
I want the community to return to the way it was, at least part of what it was, and that we will return to being the same community that we always were, that we will always be.
Following the release, Qatar announced the extension of truce between Israel and Hamas in Gaza by 2 days. White House welcomed the decision, with NSA John Kirby announcing the success of Biden's approach.
Of course, we welcome the announcement just a little bit ago, I think in the last hour or so, by Qatar, that the humanitarian pause in Gaza, now in its 4th day, will be extended for another 2 days through Thursday morning Israel time. This humanitarian pause has already brought a halt to the fighting, together with a surge of humanitarian assistance.
Israel said it was ready to extend truce by 1 day for every 10 hostages released by Hamas. For some families, there has been moments of joy. However, many still await release of their nears and dears. One such is Hadas Kaldiron, mother of 2 children who were taken hostage by Hamas. She marked her youngest son's birthday in his absence.
We are celebrating my son Erez, is 12 years old today. We're celebrating his birthday. He loves the mountain bike, and his father also is very professional in riding bike. So that's what you see, and I wish he could be here to enjoy with everybody and to feel like a normal boy.
The wait for near and dear ones continue, but for how long will this wait continue remains to be seen.
On to Europe now. NATO ministers of foreign affairs are meeting today and tomorrow at its headquarters in Brussels. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Norwegian Foreign Minister in Belgium today. Blinken will be attending the Ukraine-focused meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday in Brussels and Skopje, where foreign ministers from NATO and the Organization for Peace and Security in Europe are gathering. He will be highlighting NATO's ongoing support for Ukraine in its war with Russia. Blinken will return to Israel and the West Bank to discuss further extensions of the Gaza ceasefire. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. North Korea, United States envoys engage in a rare public sparring at the UN meeting. And New Zealand scraps world's first smoking generation ban, citing that the economy needs it.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution. This series is going to tell stories of such change makers. Watch Change Makers on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Next, let's take you to Oceania region. New Zealand's new government is planning to scrap the smoking ban to fund tax cuts. The country is set to scrap the laws which were introduced by the previous government. The legislation passed last year had been acclaimed internationally, with research models backing the key reforms. Measures included restricting the number of tobacco retailers and reducing the level of nicotine in cigarettes.
A 36-year-old can smoke, but a 35-year-old can't. We just think some of that doesn't work. We've seen smoking rates come down across multiple generations of government. We expect that to continue. We'll have strong education campaigns.
Next news from Australia. The country will ban imports of disposable vapes in January to curb nicotine addiction in children. The new laws will stop single-use vapes from being made, advertised and supplied in the country. The ban will be expanded in March to include all non-therapeutic vapes, including refillable devices.
These are the vapes that are deliberately sold to our kids. These are the vapes that have pink unicorns on them, bubblegum flavouring, disguised in order for them to hide them in their pencil cases. This is not a therapeutic good to help hardened smokers kick the habit. This is a good that is deliberately targeted at our kids to recruit them to nicotine addiction and then to cigarette smoking. Still the biggest preventable cause of death in Australia, and we are determined to stamp it out.
Now, North Korea's ambassador made a rare appearance at the UN Security Council on Monday to defend his country's launch of a spy satellite. The 15-member body met over North Korea's November 21st spy satellite launch, Western nations such as Japan and South Korea have said that North Korea violated Security Council resolutions by launching the satellite last week. The United Nations termed the North Korea's rocket launch as serious risk to civil aviation and maritime traffic.
The DPRK's launches represent a serious risk to international civil aviation and maritime traffic. While the DPRK issued the pre-launch notification to the Japanese Coast Guard, it did not issue airspace or maritime safety notifications to the International Maritime Organization, the International Civil Aviation Organization, or the International Telecommunications Union. Security Council resolutions expressly prohibit the DPRK from conducting any launches using ballistic missile technology.
This comes as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un received photos of the White House, Pentagon and US aircraft carriers in the naval base of Norfolk. These were taken by its recently launched spy satellite. The photos were the latest in a series of images of what KCNA describes as major target regions sent by the satellite. Now, the 5th edition of the World Nuclear Exhibition kicks off just outside of Paris in France today. More than 650 exhibitors and 20,000 attendees from more than 70 countries are expected at what's seen as the major annual gathering for the civil nuclear industry. Let's take a look at this report sent to us by DD India's correspondent Ross Cullen.
The World Nuclear Exhibition is an opportunity for countries, decision makers and stakeholders in the nuclear sector to come together. And national pavilions will represent some of the major nuclear players globally, including China, Japan, the UK, the US and France. Speakers include the heads of the International Energy Agency and the International Atomic Energy Agency, the EU's industry chief and a range of voices from the private sector. France is arguably the biggest European nuclear power, from the military side and its nuclear deterrent to the civil setup, with 70% of its electricity coming from nuclear energy due to a long-standing policy based on energy security. Earlier this year, President Macron announced 6 new civil nuclear reactors will be built here in the coming decades, with nuclear power at the heart of the country's drive for carbon neutrality by 2050. France and India are working together on what could become the world's largest nuclear power plant, the Jaitapur project. EDF is hoping to build the world's largest civilian atomic infrastructure on the Indian Ocean coast, about 400 kilometres from Mumbai. Both countries have also joined forces to explore the potential of small modular reactors and advanced modular reactors. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi's trip here in July, France and India agreed on a proposal from French energy firm EDF to train Indian engineers and technicians specialising in civil nuclear power. The environmental challenges, advantages and concerns around nuclear power will be at the heart of many of the meetings and talks to be held at the exhibition over the next couple of days. And given the current climate and energy crisis, the theme for this 5th edition of the World Nuclear Exhibition is connecting nuclear to the world, rising to the energy and environmental challenges. In Paris, Ross Cullen reporting for DD India.
Now, ahead of COP28 summit in Dubai, which starts on the 30th of this month, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres addressed a gathering in New York. Guterres said that Antarctica and Greenland are melting well over 3 times faster than they were in the early 1990s. He stressed that what happens in Antarctica will impact the entire world.
The movement of waters around Antarctica distributes heat, nutrients and carbon around the world, helping to regulate our climate and regional weather patterns. But that system is slowing as the Southern Ocean grows warmer and less dense. Further slowdown or entire breakdown would spell catastrophe.
In a virtual session at the inaugural India Global Forum Middle East and Africa 2023, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman demanded tangible action on climate funding and technology transfer ahead of COP28. The event themed Unleashing Ambitions brought together various leaders to explore better opportunities between India, the Middle East and Africa. Addressing the challenges faced by developing and emerging market economies, India's finance minister highlighted the need for concrete outcomes at COP28. She insisted for a decisive action, focusing on funding and technology transfer.
I would think the conversations can happen, a lot of talk can happen, but eventually COP28 should show the direction both for transport technology and for the actual funding, be it a blended finance, public and private partnership or philanthropies coming in, but finance it is required.
And back to India now, where the 54th International Film Festival of India comes to a close in Goa today with gala performances and announcement of winners in several categories, including the Golden Peacock, Best Actor, Actress, Director, among other awards. Also, veteran Hollywood actor and producer Michael Douglas will be honoured with the Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award at the closing ceremony. This year, a list of 15 exceptional films are competing for the prestigious Golden Peacock Award at IFFI 54. We are heading for a short breather here. When we come back, more on IFFI's closing ceremony live from Goa.